Hi Taurus, this is going to be your guys' reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Please keep in mind that this is a general reading and that this is not going to resonate for every single Taurus out there. Feel free to check out any other placements in your chart. They may resonate more than what this reading will. But yeah, let's get started here, Taurus. I'm going to shuffle the cards real quick, so just bear with me. I'll be right back. I am so excited to finally announce that I have my own line of candles. If you guys are interested in any of the candles that I've created, please check it out in the description box, as well as using the promo code Shae208. That will give you free shipping above anything that's $50 and up in purchase. If you guys are interested in learning about the significance between each candle, I created a video. Check it out, you guys. Thank you for supporting me, my channel, and my friend. Thank you. Okay, Taurus. What is going on for my main collective of Taurists at this time? Well, Taurus, I kind of get this feeling that for some of you guys, you may be having a little bit of a hard time emotionally lately, or just feeling a little rocky. I wouldn't say that you guys are like all over the place. I'm just definitely going to say that there's been maybe a couple of incidences or little things that kind of come up that may actually give you guys, I don't know how else to describe it. It's not like you guys are like hysterical, but it's like maybe you guys just need a second, to just kind of regroup or refocus or, so there's things that have been coming up in your guys' reality, Taurus, that could be annoyances, or that could just be like even difficult topics, but still learning to handle them with grace. So Taurus, I feel like some of you guys are starting to maybe this is something too, okay? So there could be something where you might have misinterpreted a person, or this person could have misinterpreted you. There could have been a misunderstanding somewhere down the line of communication, or dealing with a certain individual, and it could have had you kind of going a little bit like, I don't really know how I feel or how to respond or how to act. But now it's like you guys are kind of starting to regulate that again, and you're feeling more grounded. There's something here about you guys are taking some time out right now to heal, to process, to use your discernment, basically. Now, whatever this situation is going to be different for every Taurus, but I just feel like some of you guys, you are realizing that you guys need maybe a time out to just heal, right? Some of you guys might be isolating yourselves at this time. There's definitely something here about you're fine one second, maybe you're not the next. So there is a little bit of a healing break right now. Some of you guys might have had bad news, or just something in your life came up here, Taurus, that just needed your undivided attention, that just needed you to process your own feelings or process what's going on with you. So there's definitely some kind of ups and downs. Some of you guys might not want to deal with the world right now or deal with anybody. It's almost like some of you guys could even be fighting for, it's like you guys, I'm almost getting like you don't even want to work, right? You're like depressed, or you're tired, or there's something going on in my Taurus's energies that feels kind of low, that feels kind of tiring. I think some of you guys are done putting in hard work into situations that just don't pan out for you. Some of you guys just feel like all your hard work is for nothing. There is a little bit of this sad, depressing, kind of low energy. And I feel like for some of you guys, it's just kind of like these ups and downs, right? You don't feel this way like all the time, but you're just kind of feeling like you don't really want to deal with what's going on right now. There is this feeling of wanting to kind of just check out mentally, emotionally. Again, maybe even wanting to kind of isolate yourselves. There is this sense though of maybe you even putting a stop to people that are intruding on your boundaries. people that are trying to get a reaction out of you. You guys are kind of starting to put people in their place right now, Taurus, because you feel so overwhelmed or you feel so burdened as it is that you're not really willing to have other people come in and mess with you when you're at this time of healing. There's something here about almost standing up for yourself or putting your foot down, saying, no, I'm not going to entertain that. I'm not going to put up with that. Definitely feeling this low energy. Some of you guys are having to learn what makes you happy. Maybe you guys find a hobby or you have something that is a very good outlet for your frustrations right now, Taurus. Because I just get this feeling that a lot of you guys have just a lot on your plate, and there could be something that brings you joy that you've been wanting to focus more on and put your attention more towards, that's going to benefit you in the long run, because I feel like it just brings you that state of joy, that creativity, that spark, that passion. And I just feel like a lot of you guys right now, even though there's something that is kind of positive in your life, there's still this sense of, oh, I'm never going to get what I truly want. There's just this depressive, sad energy of, who am I? Why do I think I deserve this? It's like you guys are almost working on your self-worth and your deserving, right? Like maybe you feel like you don't deserve that 10 of Cups. You guys could be juggling too at this time. And what I mean by juggling, I mean by this belief that you have about yourself. You know, there's something here that you want, Taurus. There's a goal. There is some kind of aspiration that you want. But there is, again, this voice maybe in the back of your head that's like, ooh, do you think you can handle that? Do you think you deserve that? What makes you so special? And it's like you're needing to fight that part of you. So there's almost like this inner conflict that you're dealing with at this time. And it's like some of you guys maybe even feel a little bit directionless, like you don't really know where you're going. Maybe you feel like there's just this sense of like, okay, how do I get there? There's this trap. You're feeling kind of trapped in your own mind, Taurus. And I think that's where you guys are dealing with the most conflict, is in your mind right now. You're trying to cut something toxic out of your life. You're trying to let something go that's not serving you anymore. And I just feel like you guys are on this verge of letting go of whatever this was in the past, or whatever this was that put you in that state of mind. So a lot of you guys right now, you're in this process, like I said, of healing. You're not wanting to really deal with certain things, but there is this like internal dialogue that you're fighting with. It's like you're fighting with your lower self and your higher self. There's a part of you that wants to go after something, but your lower self is like, ooh, that's not maybe a good idea. Or like, let's say whatever this creative endeavor is for you that is actually bringing you guys this 9 of Cups, this more it's almost like it's filling your cup up. You feel good about it. You enjoy doing this. Maybe you're around people that support you in this. But there's this part of you that's like, you can't get too creative now. You can't get too worked up now. You know, we need to dial that down a bit, because if we're too seen, then what is other people going to think? If we're too big, then what's going to happen? If I outgrow this stage, then what's going to happen? And there's that initial fear that you have about disappointing somebody, disappointing people. This, should I go for this? Should I not go for this? This is going to upset some people. This is going to hurt some people's feelings, and I don't want to do that. So you can tell that, Taurus, you guys are kind of in this process right now, figuring out what you really want, but also maybe you're a little too concerned about what other people think, or you're too afraid of hurting someone else's feelings that could be in the mix of this. So there is this fighting with yourself. Like, who am I? I shouldn't hurt this person. If I left this situation, I'm just going to hurt these people. If I stay where I am, I'm just outgrowing where I am. It's like you guys are meant for the big leagues, but you're playing small because you want to appease those around you, and then there's also this like limiting belief somewhere in your mind that says you don't deserve to be in the big leagues, you don't deserve to do this, you don't deserve to do that. Who do you think you are? Taurus. This is a lot, right? This is a lot going on in your external as well as your internal. So again, there's this fear of putting in more work or doing more because you're afraid of outstanding or outshining others, or you're afraid of going after something because you're afraid it's gonna upset those around you. But it's like you need to do what is gonna make you happy, right? Now, it's good to also pay attention to other people. It's good to also take into account their feelings. But when it comes to stifling your own growth, that's when you need to start kind of questioning yourself a little bit more. Am I really just self-sabotaging? Am I just using these people as an excuse to not, go to the big leagues because I'm afraid of failing when I'm in the big leagues? Because, it's like when you just start off, like, you're starting to get big, you're starting to get noticed, and it starts to take off really fast for you. And then and other people want you to join them, but they're like in a different league than you. And you're scared because you're going to be at the bottom of that league, right? Because you haven't built yourself up all the way. So you're like at the top of your league right now, which feels great, but that's like there's no substance there. You're not learning anymore. It's like time for you to like elevate and move on from where you are, but you're so afraid because you have friends, you have all these people that are rooting for you that are in the same league, but you're afraid that if you move up, then it's like you're going to lose your friends, or you're going to lose these people, and you're afraid of, again, maybe looking like a fool because you're just new in this bigger league and you don't know everything in this bigger league. So you know what I mean? There's like this fear of, if I go do this, or if I upgrade here in my life, am I going to make a fool out of myself? Is it going to backfire in my face? Are people going to make fun of me? Are people going to get angry with me? And then you say all these different things and you believe all these different things, and all it's doing is causing anxiety and frustration. And when really all you need to do is sit down, ask yourself the deeper questions, like, because your brain will automatically need to answer these questions. Your brain's designed to answer questions. So think about positive questions instead of negative, like you can always say, well, what's the worst case scenario? You can answer the worst case scenario, and then you say, okay, now, why is it that that's not that bad? Like the worst case scenario is I look like a fool, I miss out on a bigger opportunity, or I miss out on like my friends like not loving me. And then you can ask yourself, okay, well, I can always make new friends, or I can always do this, or I can always do that. And it's like you have to almost work your way out of these fears, right? You know how many times I've been afraid of something, but I didn't have anybody there to talk me out of it. So I had to sit down and like convince myself why this is a good thing for me, when I know deep down inside that that is a good thing for me, that my higher self was calling me to do something bigger. And instead I had to work my way from my fearful self to a more empowered self. And that's where you're at right now, I said Leo. That's where you're at right now, Taurus. And you're starting to up your game, and you're needing to up level that mentality as well. So we have here Sagittarius. And I feel like a lot of you guys, you are like building up this independence. You're starting to see results. You're starting to do things. There's a part of you that wants to be more adventurous too, right? Remember when I said this is like a creative thing as well? Maybe you're like, oh, I don't want to put too much work into this, or I don't want to be too creative. It's like a sense of being afraid of being too out there, or too fun, or too this, or too that. And it's like you're playing small when you know that you can do much better than that. So that's also where I'm feeling, because the traits of Sagittarius is all about adventure and trying new things and not being afraid so much of the unknown. They kind of almost embrace that. So it's learning to kind of embrace the unknown, learning to see how things go. You know, you can test the waters a little bit here, Taurus. You know, you don't necessarily have to jump all in. So there is this sense of needing to learn to not self-sabotage. And you know, self-sabotage is where it's almost like it's misguided love, because self-sabotage is your own self trying to protect you, because you know, it's like, oh, remember when we tried this and we failed, right? We shouldn't do that again. There's that sense of, I don't want us to feel that way again. But that self-sabotage keeps us small, it keeps us stuck, and it doesn't evolve us. It doesn't feed our soul. It doesn't give us what we need. And so you guys are kind of on this verge of, you know, your lower self and your higher self kind of combating together. And it's like, you get to choose which one's going to win. Are you going to win by being afraid of the fear and following into that? Or are you going to empower yourself and uplift yourself? And it really is just that. It really is just a choice. What we say, what we do, how we act comes down to a choice. And you guys are in this combative state right now in your mind. We are trying really hard to decide. And it's like, Taurus, just pick a choice, right? Just make a decision and go with it. Because I feel like a lot of you guys, it's like you guys are being called to a higher level, but you guys are afraid of disappointing those that are in that league with you, or you're afraid of, you know, moving on and then not having friends or not having that support, or what if it's just too much? You know, it's like all these ideas, all these thoughts. Who was it that said it? Was it Seneca? I think it was Seneca that said this, but it was saying that the most pain that we experience is in the imagination, right? You guys are thinking of all these what if scenarios, but they're not real. How do we know unless you go after it? You know, these are all hypotheticals. So pay attention to that as well. We also have here Neptune. So a lot of you guys are in that, like I said, in your head a lot, right? Neptune is that dreamy state. It's also the imagination. So some of you guys are maybe using your imagination to think of the worst case scenarios. Some of you guys might even be like purposefully confusing yourself. Like deep down inside, you know what you want, Taurus. You know what you need, and you know what you need to go for. But you're like, it's better to stay in the confusion. It's better to just daydream, right? Do I really need to take the action? It's like you guys are so hesitating, and I can relate to this really, like I can really relate to you guys here, okay? But I just feel like you guys need to be aware of where are your hangups and how can you rationalize yourself out of it? Because sometimes that's what we need to do, right? Sometimes we need to rationalize the fear. You know, it's like the fear oftentimes is imagination. Like, granted, if you see a tiger running after you, then yeah, that is a warrant for fear. That's like a real threat. But this isn't a real threat, but it feels like a real threat. So it's really having to rationalize it, really having to see it from all angles, having to see it for really what it is. So we also have here Virgo, and Virgos are very practical, and it's, you know, a mutable earth sign. So be flexible here, Taurus. You guys are a fixed earth sign, but be flexible, right? If this is something you really want to do, plan for it. Think about all the details about the situation, start taking the actions, but also when whatever gets thrown your way, learn to dodge it, learn to maneuver around it, learn to embrace it, learn to accept it, and not be so afraid of the conflict that this situation could bring you. We also have Pluto. So this is a time for transformation. You guys, I feel like have been noticed for something, or you've been seen for something. Like, you guys are in this situation right now, and it's calling for you to change. Because anywhere Pluto is that, like, it will change your world upside down. It is going to make you see the sides of you that you do not want to see, so that you can heal it and accept it, and that way it becomes a part of you, right? Because if you, like, when you think about shadow work, which is coined by Carl Jung, he's a psychiatrist that realized that a lot of people who reject, like, say for instance, I can't be greedy, right? I'm not a greedy person. But when we say that and we reject that part of us that is greedy, which we all have, right? We all have all these negative and positive traits. When you say, oh, I'm not greedy, sometimes life calls for you to be greedy. Sometimes life calls for you to act in that way in order to preserve yourself, or in order for you to get an opportunity that's meant for you. And other people are going to be like, oh, Taurus is so greedy. And then of course you're like, oh no, I'm not greedy. And then you push it down further. And then what happens is the shadow, right, of that greed comes out, but it comes out in different ways that are uncontrollable and that can be more harmful down the line. If you would have just accepted, yeah, I'm greedy and I'm going to take this opportunity, what's happening is you finally integrate that in as your personality. So the funny part about this is when you do that, you actually become less greedy. Right? Because you know where to put your greediness into and where not to. When you suppress it, it comes out in any way that it needs to. It comes out because it needs to, right? So you have no control over that. But when you accept that you're greedy, or when you accept whatever this negative trait is that you have, Taurus, it's going to do wonders for you, right? So it's like, this is okay. And this is kind of what Pluto is bringing out of you. It's like, let's bring out your shadow. This is what you're doing. How can we evolve past that? So that's kind of what I'm getting here. I also have here service. Some of you guys maybe need to start giving more to others, or maybe you need to start, like maybe you guys, like I said, do a lot for people, and maybe there's this sense of needing to be a little more selfish or needing to be a little bit more caring. But there's something here about what you guys do brings joy to others. What you guys are doing, whatever this is that's bringing you guys some kind of fulfillment, it's making you more likable. It's making people enjoy being around you. And again, you guys are starting to become a little more social. We also have here like these miracles, this prayer, this guilt. So don't feel guilty, right? There's something here about being afraid of what others are going to think, being afraid of hurting someone else's feelings, being afraid of not putting other people before you, or being afraid of taking a certain position or a certain job or a certain opportunity out of this feeling guilty. But I feel like this is a miracle because you prayed for this, you asked for this, you wanted this, it came to you, and then you're like, ooh, I'm guilty. I shouldn't accept that. I shouldn't do that. But like what you're doing here, Taurus, is also making others happy. You're bringing people enjoyment watching you do what you do, or you're bringing enjoyment for the little things that you do for others, right? So it's like you're feeling guilty about accepting this opportunity that's coming in that you've asked for, right? You could have asked God, you could have asked the universe, you could have asked the divine, I want this thing, and it comes to you, and you're gonna allow guilt to decide that for you? It's like, come on, you're better than that, Taurus. You're better than that. You know, guilt is hard because guilt is that one emotion that messes with your mental state like no other. Guilt controls our actions. So that right there is a key factor that is telling me that there is something in your guys' reality here, Taurus, that's keeping you guys stuck. That's keeping you guys from actually going to the big leagues or upgrading or moving up, right? You're moving up somewhere in your life. Whether this is a hobby, a career, a friendship, family, even maybe getting married, right? For every Taurus, it's different. Wherever it is that you enjoy doing, you're bringing joy to others. Other people enjoy watching you. They enjoy what you're doing. You know, you inspire others to go after their goals, Taurus. But guilt is stopping you from moving forward when you know dang well, Taurus, that you're ready and that you have the ability to back it up. So again, it's this like in-between stage that you're feeling. So I'm really asking you here, Taurus, to really evaluate your beliefs about yourself and about this situation and the guilt that you feel. Why are you feeling guilty? You know, and is this emotion causing you to self-sabotage? Is this causing you to miss out on an opportunity that you're not going to have again? Because whatever this opportunity is, I feel like it's a miracle. It came to you, it landed on your lap. You are like looking at this thinking, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I wanted. And then all of a sudden, all this guilt, all your thoughts, like you're overthinking a situation, which is not only stressing you out, but I feel like you have other things going on in your life that's adding to it. And then there's that guilt that's keeping or preventing you from making a final decision, or preventing you from actually taking this position or taking this miracle that landed in your lap. But you're like, oh, do I deserve it? Do I deserve it? You know, and it's like, okay, well, if you didn't deserve it, Taurus, then why was it presented to you? Why was it offered to you? Like, change your mindset about this, like for real. Because when you guys actually sit down and think about it, like, well, they asked me for this position, or they came to me, or this situation fell in my lap, obviously you're worthy, obviously you deserve it. And there is this sense of it's okay that you feel guilty. That's understandable, especially if you feel like you have to leave certain people behind. But there is this part of you that's like, but I need to do what's best for me. This makes me happy. This makes me, again, and you also have a talent that makes other people enjoy. You know, maybe you guys are doing something that others are watching, or you just do stuff that helps others in some way, whether you realize it or not, Taurus. So it's like you're doing yourself and other people a disservice by staying in that guilt, by staying in that lower vibration. Like when you can let go of the guilt, and that's what I'm thinking too. It's like you guys need to learn to let go of this guilt and then take this offer. Right? Let's like do what you know is best for you, Taurus. Because the truth is, when something is presented to us, sometimes we're in this state of confusion, like, oh, I don't know if I should accept it or not. But we all know deep down inside, we know what's right. We should say yes, or we should say no, and we know that. But there's always, again, those underlying weird, unresolved emotions that come up to the surface. And that's not a bad thing. That just means that that's a part of ourselves that is asking for our attention. And when you can heal through that, when you can look and examine the situation at hand, you're going to know what's right for you, right? Because I can't tell you what's right for you, Taurus, but I feel like you know deep down inside what is right for you. And it's time that you start taking that advantage, right? Take that opportunity, or take whatever it is that your heart is calling for you to do. We also have here renewal. You guys are in this new process. Remember when I said you guys are going to be up leveling in some way, where you're going to be coming from like the small leagues to the big leagues? This is like a new you, new situation, new thing. It's like this is going to transform you into a better version or a better situation. And it's like you intuitively know this, Taurus. But again, there is that cloud of guilt, that cloud of judgment that you have about yourself. But you have the wisdom, you have the knowledge, and it's all about trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, knowing that you are going to make the right decision for you at the end of the day. Whew, Taurus, I am excited for you guys. I mean, granted, obviously, I'm not excited about this worrying situation, but I am excited about what's happening for you guys. So I'm going to be pulling the Tea Leaf Oracle deck for you, and that is going to be our closing messages for my Tauruses at this time. So what is going on for my Tauruses? You guys got a lot of cards. So we have Dark Man, dealing or relationship with a man with a dark complexion or hair. And then we have here Eagle, triumph over troubles and obstacles. See, you guys are soaring high, Taurus. You're being noticed. You're being offered higher positions or higher opportunities. We have Turkey, someone is behaving stupidly. And you know, that could even be like how you view yourself. You're like, oh, should I do this? Should I not? It's like, you know what I mean? But I also feel like you could be around people that could be upset about you taking a certain position or a certain thing, and they could be acting out. And it's like, you can't control how other people are going to react or how people are going to respond to you, Taurus. You can only just do what is best for you. We also have here dark woman, dealing a relationship with a woman with dark complexion or hair. Interesting that we got both the man and the woman. That could be a sign for you, right? And then we have here desk. Pay attention to your work. Paying attention to your work, paying attention to your craft, paying attention to what you're doing. We also have sun, happiness and well-being. Yeah. And then we have here man, dealing a relationship with a man. And we have scissors, disappointment in some affair. So again, there could be somebody that could be discouraging you or not giving you what you need in that way. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have mountain road. You are on the road to success. Yes. And I see this so good for you, Taurus. I just know that whatever this is, you guys are meant for this. This is something that's going to benefit you in the long run. You know what's right for you. You know what's best for you. So do that, Taurus. Take that leap of faith. You know, don't question whether or not you deserve this, because you are deserving. You are worthy of whatever this opportunity is that's coming your guys' way. Remember, you guys are like that eagle. You're soaring high. We have here again, happiness and well-being. And you are on the road to success. Like, you guys are golden, Taurus. You have everything you need. You are qualified for this position. You're qualified for this, or else, again, it wouldn't have appeared in your life and it wouldn't have fallen in your lap. So that's what I have for my beautiful Tauruses. I hope this resonates and helped you guys in some way. Have a great and wonderful day, Taurus. Thank you. Bye.